Check this out. Bruce Lee is one of the most influential martial artists of the 20th century. And this is not discounting martial art icons like Dr. Jubong Lee, Gichin Funakoshi, Masayama, Jigoro Kano, and a lot of others. No, this is not discounting any of them. But you see, Bruce Lee had an advantage of media. Bruce Lee was on television and then he did movies. Well, because of that, he exposed the martial arts to literally millions of people, many of whom wouldn't have thought anything about the martial arts. One of the things that got me started on this path of telling the stories of the Warriors of Bronze and Fire when I first started doing this back in the late 1980s is when I found out that a lot of the Asian teachers' first American students were black men. Not all of the Asian teachers who came here had black men as their first students, but a hell of a lot of them did. I then discovered that Bruce Lee is included in that number because one of his first students was a black man named Jesse Glover. Now, back in the day, trade magazines like Inside Kung Fu and Black Belt told you about Bruce Lee, and they told you about Bruce Lee's students, and they even sometimes mentioned the name Jesse Glover. But honestly, I really don't remember seeing his picture or really having any idea that he was a black man. Now, we knew about Dan Inosanto. He was in a couple of movies and appeared in a couple of TV shows. And, he was also in a number of the magazines, the trade magazines like I just mentioned. But I believe he also came, to New York and Pennsylvania and D.C. and the Carolinas. And, he was working with them and trained with a number of the martial artists out here. He also broke bread with them. So with all of that, we heard about and we knew about Dan Inosanto. We did not really know about Jesse Glover, and that was a shame on our part. I honestly first wondered about him when I saw that movie with Jason Scott Lee, that Bruce Lee biography picture, that biopic they did. And let's be honest, and let's be real, movie biographies are not really accurate. They often do things for dramatic purposes and cinematic purposes. Give you an example. I remember when the Ray Charles movie starring Jamie Foxx came out, and my father and I went to see it, and he kept telling me that certain things about Ray's story were changed in that movie. And then, there are other movies like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, in that Jason Scott Lee, Bruce Lee biopic, when I saw that this black man showed up in this movie, I and a few others, we had a couple of questions. That's when I really found out about Jesse Glover. And as it turned out, Jesse Glover had been training with Bruce Lee since 1959. This is a quote from one of Jesse Glover's writings that I found and somebody sent to me. I don't remember. But anyway, this is a quote. My views on Bruce and his techniques are radically different from those of most people who knew him, because I was fortunate to meet him when he was very open in the expression of his art. During this period, the last half of 1959, Bruce showed me many techniques which were beyond my physical capability to perform, but I ingrained them in my mind to develop and use as my skills increased. Much of my instruction during this period was one-on-one with Bruce, often for several hours a day. Everything that occurred during these training sessions was a learning experience, because when I wasn't in direct contact practice with Bruce, I was standing on the sidelines watching him work out on a wooden dummy or in the air. Whenever I saw something new, I would ask about it, and he would carefully explain his reasons for doing the technique and what he hoped to accomplish with it. As I said, this is a direct quote, something that Jesse Glover had written. Jesse Glover, a warrior of bronze and fire.